Good evening. I have a slightly different approach, a little more nerdy. And excuse me if I sit down, my legs are a little sore. I've put together a couple of slides, and they're from an event which has recently happened 4 months ago today, actually. But it was a long time, a very long time in the making. It was a dream that I'd been having since I was about 14 or 15. And it was the repetitive dream. It was the dream that was not particularly scary in its content, but the fact that it was repetitive every 6 months or so made it very real and very scary. And that was that I died at the age of 32. And I had this strange scene of walking around my wake. And it was a great day, and it was all very happy and pleasant, but it was definitely my 32nd year, and it was my wake. And it played a role for a long time.
He's got to do on it.
Where, certainly as I got closer to the age of 32, there was a subconscious feeling that the reasons I was doing things or not doing things was somehow influenced by the fact that it didn't really matter, that I would in some way change or end at 32. And growing up, with my brother and my sister, I've got my brother here tonight, we were quite adventurous. So most of the things that we would challenge ourselves with and push ourselves with were physical as well as mental, and going to a Steiner school meant that we were fairly adventurous, barefooted kids. And this was the pinnacle. This event that we'd been planning for a long time was to top them all. And it happened to be 5 days before my 33rd year, my 33rd birthday. And it was a very nerve-wracking month leading up to this event. We had it planned for 2 weeks prior, but it was a miserable day and it was raining, so we couldn't do it. And it happened to be 5 days, and I pleaded with Anthony to make it just a week later, just after my 33rd birthday. But it fell on this day. So this is the spot. This is a place some people might have seen. It's called Hanging Rock. It's down the Blue Mountains. And it's also known as the Death Swing. Other people have done this before, but it's not a paid event or organised by anyone else. It's set up by ourselves. And we tie a rope, or 2 ropes, around the end of the overhang that you can see in the picture there. And we harness ourselves on and do it's basically a free fall off a 200-metre ravine and do a swing. And it's an adrenaline-based activity, obviously. And it's not for the faint of heart, but it was something that we thought was realistic and we could do it. And the skill base that we had, and we've done other things similar before that we could do. And we wanted to do it properly, and we set it up, and we spent a lot of time putting it together. In fact, we were there the night before and camped together, and there was about 6 or 7 of us there together and camped out, and it was a real men's bonding experience with fire and charcoal and lots of adrenaline. That's the proof that it could actually happen. This is Anthony and the bear out on the overhang. So this is us setting it up out at the end. I just want to mention, as I'm watching this, this is still part of my healing process. Even tonight, this is very cathartic for me. I'm very privileged to be here in this community and be invited to do it, because it's still a healing process for me. It's still an oh shit moment. It's still part of what I'm living at the moment. So I appreciate being able to show it. This is the shot of courage. That's a good drop, actually. And this is a look of grimace, which I can't actually make that face on a normal day. And this is just before the jump. And Anthony and Aber, who's the attractive darker skinned guy on the left, they'd done it beforehand, and so it was possible. And this was my turn. And this is actually the clip. So those that are queasy, and there's a bit of swearing, and I actually make a mistake. You got sound there?
Yeah. Right. Brother. Right. Action. Fuck yeah! Yeah! Fuck, really?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Fuck.
You got that? I'm not sure what I saw.
I'll play it once more.
Brother.
Oh.
Action.
Fuck yeah!
Fuck, really?
Yeah.
Fuck. Fuck.
So part of the even part of this process of watching that, no matter how many times I've watched that, it's still a moment of realization that I hadn't quite executed something. Even though we went through all the safety processes and tried to make it as safe as possible, it still broke me, obviously. And I had that's not the oh shit moment. Actually, the oh shit moment really was at about halfway up the rope. I made it halfway up the rope, cross-sicking up the rope. Those that know rock climbing, using my legs and my arms, which I had 8 broken bones and a dislocated knee in my legs, and my coccyx bone snapped off, and a fracture of the bottom vertebra, and having to climb halfway and still feeling as though I'd let down the team and the guys, and a realization of asking for help, and hearing in the background that they were talking about getting a helicopter, and that realization that, oh shit, I've had that type of experience. It's I can't make it up without passing out. And this is probably where I get emotional. But Anthony, that's my brother above, my little brother, my younger brother, who is probably the only person that has the skill set to be able to get me out of this situation. At the time I weighed close to 80 kilograms, and he came down the rope that I was on and attached himself to me like a piggyback, and we worked together. Again, I had bones crunching every time we stood, so he took most of the weight and had to actually pull up. There's hopefully I got a picture of his biceps up here. But the process of actually needing that help, and there was only one person in the world that I know that can do it, and that's my brother. So my first thank you is to Anthony. That's my oh shit moment. Learning to ask for help. There he is. And I put this in here. I did jokingly say that I would lighten this up, but he's single. I was going to have his telephone number come up later. So the helicopters were called and all the ambulance, and this was one of my. This is a beautiful photo, but this was one of my first experiences and only experience with ketamine, which is an amazing drug. I'll try to keep this less morbid. But and this is my 33rd birthday. I made it, and I was alive. This is my mummy, who has been also very amazing, and the feeling of having, whenever you're sick, this is when I really needed my mummy, and to have her around every day and come and help me and cook for me and look after me with Tess was just great. And we bonded through this process in a very different way, and I'm very appreciative. Thanks, Mum. Mates, this is on the day I decided I was going to come home. I was adamant I was leaving hospital, and I'd roll from Westmead in the wheelchair if I had to, if no one was to pick me up. Of which Anthony did in his van, and he put me in the back of the work van, and we found a couch on council clean-up on the way home, and that's how I arrived at home. Snuck out of hospital without checking out. This is a ramp that was built out the front of my house the day that I was to arrive home, just for my friends, and it was just really, really wonderful. This guy. This is my father. This is Kenny Boy. Kenny Boy's in the audience too. Now, during the process of the healing and meeting people in the wheelchair and talking about the injury, you like that photo, Ken? A lot of the people who would see me either in the wheelchair or the crutches or the cane or something like that, they would say, they'd ask what has happened. And they'd empathise with, a lot of them would say, oh look, I've had something similar. And 90% of the time, the people that I met who were empathising with me held on to that event as an excuse not to keep going on, or to find a way to use that as an excuse to be lazy in life, or to just give up. 10% of those people were amazing, who had taken it and learned from it and grown and taken the challenges and kept going. And in fact learnt, like everyone that spoke tonight. But this guy, he turned 81 on Friday and has just got back from 2 months of travelling across America from one side to the other with my crazy party animal sister and keeping up with her. And I'm really chuffed by the inspiration. So, thanks, Dad. This is the tribe, and I'm just so thankful for all of the support. And it has actually it made me feel a lot closer to all of them, and all of the barriers that come up between us seem to have just disappeared. There were certain things that came up and insecurities that came up for me in relationships with certain members of the family, but it's actually helped to bring them to the light, and I've just been full of support. I'm so grateful and so thankful. And I'll leave on this. This is my beautiful boy, my boy Peyton, and he asked the question, why did he do it in the first place? Come on, he actually put this together, this slide, and so it's called the death swing. And he asked, why would you do it? And I think it's the question, would you do it again, or why would you do it in the first place? And it's that question's been asked again and again. And I think everyone who does this type of thing is asked all the time. And it's to look back when I'm 81 and say that I filled my life and that I gave it a good crack. Thanks.